editor of Connecting Africa, and I'm here at Africa Tech Festival in Cape Town, South Africa. And with me is Mohammed Aliyu, who is the Chief FibreCo Officer at Bayobab. So nice to have you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.
So first of all, maybe just tell me a bit about Bayobab's FibreCo and kind of how it fits into the MTN group.
Thank you very much. A very good question there. Bayobab used to be called Global Connect, MTN Global Connect. It was created in 2018, November to be precise, with the responsibility of managing two of its international business arm, which is the fixed connectivity and the mobile connectivity side of the business. We rebranded earlier this year to Bayobab, and we're still having the two businesses that we're running, one of which is the Bayobab platforms, and the other one is the Bayobab connectivity, as you can see. So it's still 100% owned by the MTN group, and we're responsible for delivering services for connecting Africa to the rest of the world so that we can give everybody the benefit of a modern connected life on the African continent.
Okay, so maybe just explain how big is kind of the network? How many kilometers of fiber do you have at the moment?
Interesting question. So I'll start with the subsea, which are the arteries that bring in the data into the African continent. We're actually on 18 subsea cables, 6 of which we're major investors in. We manage some of those cable landing stations on behalf of the consortium as it is. We've got 112,000 kilometers of proprietary fiber on the African continent, and I'm very proud to say that that's the largest proprietary self-owned build used fiber in sub-Saharan Africa. And it's not just that, we're actually knitting this fiber to cross-connect across the country so that we can connect the unconnected, to give everybody the benefit of a modern connected life and ensure that everybody enjoys the benefit of those connectivities. So there's quite a lot of projects we're working on just to make sure that we connect the unconnected, like our East to West project, where we're able to get a funding of 320 million from Africa 50, because partners are already seeing the values we're bringing to the African continent. Governments are partnering with us. We've gotten licenses in some of our operations, and we're very much in the forefront of achieving the Ambition 2025 of the MTN group.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that Africa 50 project. What's kind of the importance there? What countries is it going to be impacting?
Well, I mean, Africa 50 saw what we're doing, and it aligns with what they want, and they partnered with us to fund this project. So we're doing the East to West project. We're thinking it's not only just the subsea. We need to also connect the unconnected within the landlocked countries of Africa. So this project is going to go over 10 countries. It's going to connect a large population of people that have never been connected before. And the value, it's enormous, as you can imagine, because it's going to help support all digital activities that it's going to be there. Just like the tree that we got the inspiration of our name from, the Bayobab tree, where it enables its ecosystem. We believe that the Bayobab also enables its own ecosystem, and we hope to bring the needed digital transformation within those markets. And we surely believe that will also improve the GDPs of those economies and generally bring a better way of life for people.
So for Bayobab in general, kind of what's the strategy for expansion in Africa, and what are the targets maybe for like 2025?
Well, the target for 2025 is that we need to get to 135,000 kilometers of terrestrial fiber. It's a very big target. We're also making sure that we've got all our subsea assets booted. We also continue to knit the cross borders in West Africa, in East Africa. We've just done a project where we've linked Terraco in South Africa into Zambia. In Zambia, as an example, we've rolled out about 4,000 kilometers in the last 24 months. We've gotten this fiber connectivity close to 7 of the 8 landlocked countries in that region. So we're actually making it a digital hub for the sub-Saharan, Southern African continent.
Yeah.
And the government there sees what we're doing. That's why they issued us an international license within the year to also make sure that we continue to bring in the value that those are investments are bringing to the economies.
So you kind of mentioned Southern Africa a lot, East and West. What are you doing in Central Africa? What's the strategy there?
Central Africa is very interesting. I mean, it's part of our East to West project. And this year, we're also able to take over 1,000 kilometers of fiber that was funded by the World Bank in Central Africa Republic. And it might interest you that this is the first time we're trying to connect that landlocked country with the arteries of the world, with the subsea. So, I mean, partners, governments are seeing the developments we're bringing. They're trusting in our vision to make sure that everybody gets the benefit of a modern connected life on the African continent. And I think we'll just continue growing from there.
Yeah. What are kind of the big challenges that you face when it comes to fiber rollout in Africa?
Well, I mean, you never do projects without challenges, but I mean, these are things that our parent company, MTN, has been operating for over 30 years in Africa, so we understand the landscape to an extent. Of course, we've got challenges sometimes with how quick we get licensing in some of the markets. We've also got some things that are beyond our powers. For example, when you've got things with wars and security concerns and coups in countries where we hope to take those services to. So those are also challenges. So you can't deal with our challenges, but we're up to the task to make sure that we deliver on our ambitions. So we'll continue to work on that.
Yeah. If you were speaking to regulators, what would be the things that you would want to tell them, like maybe need to change, or collaborations that they can do with companies like you to improve connectivity?
A very interesting and good question there. I mean, for us, regulators are actually our partners in progress. One of the things I always say, or the model we've taken, is to always go and sit with them, more or less collaborate with them, show them the benefits and the values we're bringing based on all of those projects we're doing, how it's going to improve connectivity, it's going to improve GDP, it's going to bring people into the digital connected life. And I think quite a lot of them have seen it, and lately I've seen quite a lot of support from some of those regulators. So all the time we just have to be talking to them, showing them the bigger picture and the value that whatever we're doing brings to them in the long run.
Yeah. And then lastly, I wanted to touch on the subsea cables a bit more. You mentioned it in the beginning, but why did you feel To Africa was the right cable kind of to invest in and get involved with?
I think To Africa, it's the longest subsea cable in the world, over 45,000 kilometers, covering both the east and the west side of Africa. So it's fully covering Africa to start with. It's a new modern build, not like the traditional ones where you own your own fiber pier and you can boot it up. And then Bayobab has fiber pier on both sides of the spectrum, by the way. And we're also involved in some of the cable landing stations on that cable. And it's going to bring enormous data that Africa needs to grow. Remember that Africa is a continent with over 1.3 billion people today, and it's growing at a very fast rate. It's predicted to get to 2.5 million people by the year 2050. And it's a very youthful continent. Average year is about 18. So, I mean, those are the digital natives that you need to enable and give them those benefits of a modern connected life. The To Africa cable is actually bringing massive terabytes of data into the African continent. And apart from To Africa, we've also invested on Equiano on the west coast of Africa. So all of those cables actually are bringing in the massive terabytes of data that is required on the African continent to actually bridge this digital gap that we have on the continent of Africa.
All right, well, thanks so much. I think that's a good place to leave it. Thanks very much to Mohammed Aliyu, the Chief FibreCo Officer at Bayobab.
Thank you very much. Thank you.